Wake up, wake up, wake up. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Look, man, Washington had a game today. I said today? I'm thinking it's goddamn Saturday. Washington had a game this weekend. Plenty of things to talk about. But one of the more important things, you know what it is. You see the title. Is Antonio Gibson in trouble? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a few other things. Washington Commanders show starts right now.
Chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down, you gon' chop it down.
I just appreciate everybody
Down,
watching.
watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome into the Trap or Dive Washington Commanders morning show. Let's get the administrative item out of the way right quick. If you are new to the Trap or Dive podcast, Trap or Dive channel, make sure you hit that follow button on Twitch. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It does help the show's growth. We are not that far away from 1,000 subscribers. Let's shoot for the start of the season. Can we get just a little under 150 before the season starts? We're going to find out. We're going to find out soon enough. But yeah, man, it does help the show's growth. I appreciate it. Everybody that's checking in, what's going on, Hawk? What is going on, Rich? What is going on? Who we got? Oh Lord, midnight. That joint just fucked me up. Jesus Christ. Good morning, y'all. What's going on with you? Like I said before, and like it's always going on with the morning show. I didn't put the link in the description this time for YouTube. I actually just forgot. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and put the link in the chat for everybody right now. And throughout the show, you all can tap in anything that you all want to talk about with your thoughts on the Commanders weekend. The floor will be yours. I have one specific topic to talk about. I have some other things that we can discuss. But in that same vein, the main thing is Antonio Gibson. So I guess I'll go over my brief observations because this is the first time we're talking about it on Trap or Dive. So it's probably going to be better if we go over it that way. First and foremost, let's ask the question to everybody in here. What y'all think about the game? Because we clearly don't care about the outcome. So we don't have to go down that route, right? But let's talk about how these guys perform, like individual players. How did they look to you all? Who are some people that caught your eye? And why was that? So, for me, I thought the game started off a little sketchy. And not from oh Lord, we're in trouble type shit, but semblances of last year in terms of the defensive performance, giving up all those third downs. If you all remember the conversation that we had last week, my biggest thing we were talking about the offense, right? My biggest thing wasn't necessarily about individual performance, but unit performance. How are they performing in certain metrics and how are they performing in certain situations, especially on the plus side of the field? For the defense, we didn't even talk about that, but same thing existed. I wanted to see how they played in certain situations, and this defense, let me pull up the numbers because I have like quarter by quarter numbers, so I can actually pull that up and we can have that discussion for the team, and that'll probably be better. All right, here we go. I got the game book up right now, and where is the first quarter numbers? I need to see. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that first half stuff. Here we go. First quarter. So in the first quarter, time of possession was split evenly, but Carolina had 10 points. Washington had none. But the defense in the first quarter, which was the starting defense, gave up 3 third-down conversions, and ultimately gave up that one red zone touchdown for that side. So I just, when we talk about, or at least me, when I talk about like somewhat concerning, like how it started off, I was like, oh Lord, this looks like some shit we did last year. But in further review, I'm not going to excuse them, but I do think one of the primary things that I noticed that Washington had their mishaps was really had a lot to do with like giving up early yardage downs, on early downs, but also the nickelback. Like Danny Johnson was a guy where I'm sitting here thinking, we were talking about Christian Holmes last week too. I'm like, I'm not sitting here thinking that Christian is a slot guy. He may be a boundary, but at the very least, we need Benjamin St-Juste back. And I need to see what Benjamin St-Juste looks like in the slot, because Danny had a rough day. Danny had a rough day in the slot. He had a rough day on the boundary. That 2-minute situation when PJ Walker came in and he marched down the field, he done targeted Danny Johnson like 3 times. He targeted Danny Johnson like 3 times, and there was nothing Danny Johnson could do about one of them Jones. Like he had like a 6'3" guy on him, and it was too easy for him. And I think Danny Johnson, I didn't even know this until like last week or so, but Danny Johnson is 5'9". So I'm over here thinking like, God, we need a nickel back ASAP, and I need to see what Benjamin St-Juste looks like. So I say all that to say, like, that first drive, and the drive after that, it was a little concern. I mean, some certain drives throughout the game were a little concerning, but nothing to wring your hat over. But on that defensive side altogether, though, I did like how some of the pressure was getting home. I didn't like how Jamin Davis. How do you miss on Baker Mayfield? How do you miss a tackle on Baker Mayfield? What's going on, Jay? Jay Tizzy. But I don't like how Jamin Davis missed that tackle on Baker Mayfield, man. Baker Mayfield ain't no Mike Vick. I know he was checking the guy, so he was probably moving around and approaching him at an angle that was kind of uncomfortable, but that was part of the reason why, the drive was extended early on. And then obviously Danny Johnson again from the slot position, as a guy playing man coverage. I think that Danny was probably too nervous. He was giving up too much cushion. And I don't think that's always a coach's thing, because I've seen some people complaining on Twitter too about like how soft these guys were playing, soft coverage. But sometimes when you play off, it's not necessarily they want you playing at an exact number. Sometimes like cornerbacks talk about it. Like who was it? Adrian Wilson I know y'all remember Adrian Wilson, New York Giants, Arizona Cardinals. Made his name. He got a Super Bowl, played in the Super Bowl in 2008. He was talking about how early on it was a regime in Arizona that wanted him to play strictly off ball, 9 yards every single play. And he wasn't good at that. He was getting cooked. But some people like have the comfortability to play a little bit closer or play a little bit off. And Danny Johnson was a guy like, yeah. The Adrian Wilson was a dog hawk. But yeah, I'm just saying he was forced to play 9 yards off, and that was a coordinator call. That's how his scheme worked. But some people have that leisure or that leeway to either play a little bit off, like 4 or 5. They can play 7s to 10, and things like that. But yeah, I just think that Danny Johnson probably he had a bad day, but at the same vein, I think he's someone who's clearly replaceable, and I don't want to harp on him completely, but we can move forward to some other guys. I just thought that this was something where I need to see Ben, because if this continues in the regular season, all they're going to do is continue to target our shot guys, and we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems. Rich said there were some bright spots. Rodgers, B-Rob, Sam, O-line was the bright spots for me. I think Rodgers can secure that number 3 spot at tight end. Don't forget, so we have Logan Thomas, John Bates, Cole Turner. So Armani or Curtis or Samus is going to be that 4th guy. But I think Rodgers, I said it yesterday, and I've been peeping since last week. I think Rodgers is a guy who, he got something to him. And I can't describe what the hell it is yet, but he got something to him. And I think if he continues to even play the way he played last Saturday, then I think he's going to continue to grow into a role that Washington is going to be comfortable having him around on the active roster. I wasn't that much of a fan with Curtis Hodges. Like, I understand he had a couple good blocks. And he did make some catches, but I just think that from an impact standpoint, with the ball in his hands, he didn't really do much. And then on top of that, if you all remember the goal line when Carson Wentz threw the ball to Curtis Hodges on that pick route between, I think it was Terry McLaurin and Curtis. Let me look. I'm actually looking at the play right now. I think that was Kurt. Who is it? I think that's Curtis and Terry. Yeah, Curtis Hodges and Terry McLaurin. Curtis Hodges ran his route short. Like, for a guy who wants to get into the end zone, you know what I'm saying? I look, you got to be smart with your depth when you breaking out and stuff like that. So that was a highlight for me in terms of understanding where you're supposed to be on the field and understanding the depth of your routes, and in a critical spot in the red zone, bro, you gotta make that shit shake. So I'm surprised nobody brought up special teams yet. Okay, this Juice already showing he can't stay healthy. Look, that's my guy, but they said that they had a very important role for him, so they wanted to keep him out. But I'm not gonna say you wrong at all. He said the hamstring got tight. Rivera said that. So he said he just wanted to be smart and not put him out there since they're counting on him. So it happened Thursday, I guess, and he came in on Friday, said that he was sore, but the GPS numbers he was running, they said he was running this towards the end of the week. So they said he can play, but they just kept him out. Said he was running over 21 miles an hour. That's just crazy. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into, since we are talking about the defense right now, because I want to have a conversation on Antonio Gibson and Sam Howell and Taylor Heineke at that too. Where we at? I just saw the question. The safeties. Here we go. All right. What do you think about the safeties? I saw that Baltimore's backup safeties, and they could start for us right now. Really? Hey, I like Bobby McCain. And for that matter, indirectly, I like William Jackson in his time, his small outing. Look, when you get tested deep, I think that was a cover 3 too. William Jackson played that as perfectly as possible because he filtered that man to the middle safety, that deep third player. And guess who was right there to knock that ball loose? Like, that was textbook coverage. And when I've said 1,000 times, like, I think that Bobby McCain could do well for this defense, and for him to be in the right spot and dislodge the ball, I think him and William Jackson played that as perfect as it can be. And I mean, shout out to Baker for testing them, or Sam Darnold, whoever it was at that point. Shout out to them for testing them. But in that same thing, like, for them to be in position, which is their job, but just to be on one accord, because I don't know what the left side of the offense was doing, but Bobby snuffed that out pretty quickly. So I was very happy to see how the starting safety and Bobby McCain played. The other guys, Cam Curl, he had some good plays from an IQ standpoint. I liked how Cam Curl played in the box. Derek Forrest had some looks at true strong. Like, when they talk about that Buffalo nickel look, I did see the 3 safety look at times. I don't know how you all felt about it. I think Derek actually played okay. He filled some run gaps well as a strong safety. And in coverage, he played well too. Like, he gave up a catch in the 2-minute drill as well, but I think that catch, that coverage was perfect. Like, it's as good as you can get for a quarterback who had to throw it where he threw it. Like, remember the tight end, he had a breaking out route. Derek Forrest was on him on the inside, took away the inside, and PJ Walker had to make it to a point where only the tight end can get it. So I liked how Derek Forrest had his opportunity in coverage, his one exposure where he was targeted. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get a pass that accurate, and it just so happened to be accurate. So I liked how Derek Forrest played, and when he played in that true strong safety role, you saw Cam Curl in the box. So you have your idea in terms of how you want to play these slot receivers, these tight ends, and things like that. And I'm going to say, as long as you can get Danny Johnson in the backup role, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with that. What else? Y'all know my boy Big Phil, man. I had to talk about him. Big Phil, I liked. I think that he made his presence felt in the run game. In defense, he understood a lot of the things that we liked, or at least I liked. I don't know how everybody felt about Big Phil coming out, but a lot of things that I identified coming out, how he understood the run fits, how he understood run schemes. He was defeating the reach blocks, or a couple times. I'm not gonna say he did it every time, but he won on his side. He was able to stack these guys. He had good hand placement, especially in the goal line, which was really important. Like when they tried to run his way, he shut that shit down. Somebody mentioned on Twitter that, you know, the next play, like it was a play where they tried to run his way. They stuffed it. He's maintained his gap, had good gap control, found the running back and things like that. I think they lost 2 yards on the play that he made. So the very next play they gave up a touchdown, but they didn't run to his side. They ran it right back, but they ran it the opposite way. They got in the end zone. So smart play by Carolina. You ain't gonna run that shit on field side. Okay, who else we got? Safety Parker. Yes, he is. I don't know if you all knew Parker. I didn't know a damn thing about Parker. I didn't even know who Parker was. Half of these guys in the second half, I didn't even know the offensive lineman that was playing with Sam Howell. I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything, man. So that was very interesting. Sam Parker is an undrafted free agent in his 4th year. That man, I can see why he's been in the league to this point as long as he has. He had stints in Miami, Dallas, and then with the Giants last year. So he's been around, man. And I don't know who he is. I just like his energy. I loved his energy. And I'm not going to say, like, people said he was all around the ball, and I agree he was. But I would love to just see how he's developing from I wouldn't even say developing at this point. I need to know who he's competing against. Like, what is his role in terms of making this team? Because it could be another Torrey McTyer situation. It all depends on how that back end of the DB depth chart fills out. Yeah, so let me actually look up his measurables. You got a good point. Hold on. Let me look up. Cause like I said, I had no idea who the hell Stephen Parker draft. Let's see. Stephen Parker out of Kansas. Of course, it's the wrong one. It's so many Stephen Parkers, man. Let me see. This was stupid. Let's see. Is this him? Okay, this may be him. 2018, yeah. So he's 6'1", 4'5". He has 33-inch arms, 9.5 hands, ran a 4.58 40. Okay, he got a little bit of explosiveness to him. All right. So yeah, like I said, I'm interested, man. I love his energy. I can't really take away from that. Who else we got? Oh, Percy Butler. I didn't talk about Percy Butler. I talked about Derek Forrest. I loved what I saw. I'm exaggerating, but I did like what I saw from Percy Butler in terms of his coverage reps. He had coverage reps as the single high safety. He had coverage reps as the slot corner. He looked good in both. I loved how he was moving from his hip fluidity and being able to change directions as quickly as he had. He looked comfortable. He gave up a pass too over the middle. And that one pass that he gave up in particular was him not, understand or committing to what the receiver was doing. I actually think it was a tight end though. So like I want to see some more decisiveness and trust in his eyes. Because he could have been a little bit quicker on that, but that was the only time where I saw a coverage rep where I was like, all right, I think you could have been there or been to the break a little bit quicker than what you were. So that's one thing about Percy that I was like, all right, overall, really good in coverage. And then when we talk about that nickel slot position, the only thing that I had issues with Percy playing in the box, remember they gave him Buffalo nickel looks as well. And they gave him reps where he was tight to the box and things like that. The only thing that I didn't really appreciate from Percy was he had an opportunity in run support to make a play at the line of scrimmage. And you know, he missed on the tackle and run support. And that was something that was a common theme in terms of like having to play in the box. Like he has really good pursuit angles for the most part. I mean, obviously because of his speed, and things like that. But in terms of box and run support, he missed the tackle. The run ended up going for like 12 yards. So that one stood out to me. Who else did we have? Jamin Davis. We didn't talk about Jamin. What do y'all think about Jamin? I see the special teams thing. We're gonna get to that in like 2 seconds. What's going on, DP? We're gonna get to special teams in 2 seconds and then transition to that offense. Jamin, like I said, I when we started off this show, I didn't mention the good that I saw from Jamin Davis. I mentioned the one whiffed tackle that he had on Baker Mayfield that actually extended the drive. But Jamin Davis overall, like that was one bad moment. I think for the most part, he filled gaps well. I think that I like the fact that, you know, it was a trap play where the running back had a lead blocker. My bad. He had a lead blocker, a lead fullback as a blocker, and Jamin filled the gap. He recognized what was going on off the rips, took on that block, and bounced the running back outside the hole, and Derek Forrest made the play at the line of scrimmage. So I don't know if you all remember that play in particular, but I think it was like the second drive, if not first drive. No, it was the second defensive drive. But I love the way that Jamin Davis filled that hole, and overall, he played okay. Like there was no major gaffes from Jamin Davis. Cole Holcomb had a major gaffe that nobody's talking about, actually. Let me see if I can find it so I can tell you all what's going on with Cole Holcomb. I'm sure that my guy Mark Bullock has this opportunity, or I'm sure he showed that clip. So let me see if I can find the play. I mean, maybe he broke it down already, so I can just show you all. But I'm definitely certain that he has that. Let's see. I tossed it off. Oh yeah, he got all the clips. Let me see if I can find that one in particular. John Allen. Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. So he does have it. All right, so I'm gonna blow this one up so I can show you all what happened. Nope, not this one. Share video. Share screen. All right, here we go. Go ahead and remove so we all can see it. There we go. All right, here we go. So this was the play where I was talking about nobody was mentioning Cole Holcomb. I think this was a cover one man situation, and Cole Holcomb looked lost. I'll run it. It'll be quicker to see. So what happened between Curl and Holcomb is to be determined, but if everyone was in man coverage, I think Cole maybe thought that they were in zone, or maybe so there's two possibilities. Maybe Cole thought that they were in zone and he was going to take on the crosser that was coming his way, and Curl was going to take on the crosser that was coming back towards him. I guess it was a simple mesh concept, but everybody else was in man coverage, so maybe Cole thought that, or Cole simply just didn't know what they were running and just completely left this guy alone. So look where his eyes are. He didn't even see, look where his eyes are this entire time. He didn't even see the crosser coming to his right. He never looked to his right. So I don't understand that part, and that's why this guy is wide open. That's one of the bigger plays of that first drive. And I don't think this was on Curl. I think Curl recognized it, and that's why he got off of his man. But I also think that he was doing his job because everybody else was in the cover one man situation. You had your single high Bobby McCain up there, but that one was a little weird. And I think this is the play that Jamin Davis ultimately made downfield. Shutting the block. I like that. Getting off that block, man, and making that play. Again, he ain't had nothing to do with the miscommunication, but a good hit, a good stick on that receiver. I think the linebacker play will be bad again. Hey, look, I have said And I'm not going to raise no concerns or anything, but I have also said that I think Cole Holcomb was a little bit problematic in coverage. It is what it is. And I don't know how they're going to combat that. I think Jamin Davis is one of their better linebackers in terms of coverage, but I also think that Cole Holcomb is one of their smarter linebackers overall in terms of processing and identifying and play recognition. So it's like you got to pick your poison sometimes, and he'll have these mishaps. So I don't know how you have that mishap on the very first drive on a simple mesh route. A mesh concept. It's very simple. Just stick with your man. But again, like I said, these are theories. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know. It ultimately lies on Cole Holcomb, but I don't know what he was thinking in terms of if he just thought it was zone, or he thought that, he was going to take on the crosser, because he never looked to his right. So that was just interesting to notate. Okay, so we talked about Cole, Jamin, and their short opportunities. We talked about the safeties. Kendall Fuller gave up a touchdown, but I also actually, you know what? I do think that was on him. That one was, let me see if Mark has this one too. Shout out to Mark, because I'm gonna be using a lot of his shit, because I don't have I don't have the all 32, which is very frustrating. It is very frustrating. Okay, so he doesn't have it. Yeah, he doesn't have it. Okay. Damn, that sucks. Anyway, Kendall Fuller. There we go, my boy Alex in this thing. Back at it. Another start to the weekend, man. Happy Monday to everybody, man. Everybody, we got football back for the next. I can't count. I ain't about to do that. We got football back till February of 2023. I don't know how many weeks that is, man. But yeah, man, happy Monday to everybody, bruh. But yeah, he looked like he was expecting Curl to release from his man and cover the cross, and that's where I'm getting at. Like, I don't know what Cole was thinking, because he never looked to his right. He only saw that crosser that was coming towards his left side. So again, I think he was just confused, bruh, to be honest with you. But that stuff happens. Okay. So DP said Jamin always looks to be around the play, but not quite yet making the play. He did erase the tight end and coverage off of play action. That was good to see. Yes, he was. And I think he was targeting, like I said, Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson was that guy. So where we at? Kendall Fuller gave that touchdown, but in that zone coverage, I think what he did, he just bit too hard on Sam Darnold. So if you all remember, they were playing a zone defense, a red zone defense to be more specific. And for the most part, he played everything well up until the point that he thought that the quarterback was going to throw it. So as he's playing the quarterback's eyes, he sees the receiver crossing very late, and Sam Darnold just put up a very good accurate ball in a spot that Kendall Fuller really couldn't get it, and it was on the receiver to go chase that ball down. So that was it was a notation. I don't think that's going to happen too much, but for Kendall Fuller to get to bite on that essentially early on was a little interesting. I just say that much. It was interesting. Okay, special teams. I like this. We're gonna keep this up. As we transition to special teams right quick. Actually, no, let's go ahead. So we did have some people talking. Rich said Steven Sims balled out for Pittsburgh. Let me look at his numbers. Let me look at Steven Sims' numbers right quick. Hold on. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what Steven Sims did. All right. Steven. Hey, what did y'all think about Steven Sims when he was here? Did y'all in preseason, because he got cut after preseason, what did y'all think about his time here in Washington? Should he have stayed? What did y'all think about the outlook of, or their decision to move on from Steven Sims? I want to see if y'all how y'all memory is of that man. Let's take a look. Yeah. All right, he had a game. Okay, so he played one target, two targets, one reception, 2 yards. Where's the special teams at? They're not going. Maybe I could just click on the game so I can see what he looked like in special teams too. So Steven, let me show y'all what I'm looking at too, because y'all know y'all just looking at me right now. Let's see. Oh, he had a carry. Oh, it's lit. 1 carry for 38 yards. Okay, so he had a carry, and he had 1 catch for 2 yards. What about special teams? Where the special teams at? And he had a punt return for 38 yards. Okay, Steven Sims making plays for Pittsburgh, man. And that's the thing. Like, he played, well, he did punt return. No, he played punt return and kick return for us. You know, we had DeAndre Carter last year. He moved on to Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, looked like he was expecting career. Overall good player. Suffered from drops. Absolutely. What's going on, Ralph? Appreciate you checking in. That was the thing. Drops ultimately determined his fate here. Yeah, that was that. It was really drops and his ability to be trusted on the field as an offensive player. And it's crazy how much they trusted DeAndre Carter now. DeAndre Carter was in there a lot due to injuries, and Curtis Samuel being unavailable, but yeah, they were much comfortable with him moving on. Like, those drops was just incredible. So there we go with him. Let's go ahead and get back to the team and that special teams, man, because this was actually, yeah, it might be. It might be. Couldn't haul in. He wouldn't field punts for us. So yeah, I think for our special teams, man, everybody was ass, just flat out. Everybody was ass except for Dex Mill. And Dex Mill had one opportunity, and he took advantage of it. Like, he was very decisive on his punt return, took it, went. I think he got like 10 yards out of it. But everybody else, like the kickoffs, I understand. Like a guy like Kyrick McGowan, a rookie. I think he went to Georgia Tech. Let me see if I can find that. NFL. Like Kyrick McGowan out of Georgia Tech. I understand that you're a rookie, right? And like when you're trying to make a name for yourself, it's very important to like put your name on the map for your coaches. And bro, this man took a kick from deep inside the end zone and only got to the 20. It's a reason why Ron is spazzing out on these guys, because they weren't even getting back to the 25. And it wasn't just Kyrick McGowan. Let me go ahead to the Commanders. Here we go. Special teams. All right, here we go. Share, screen, boom. Yeah, like it wasn't just Kyrick McGowan. Kept letting punts hit the ground. Deep, Dax is definitely making them. Yeah, 8 yards deep, bro. Kyron took one 8 yards deep. He had the longest of 24, and that's because that fool took it 8 yards deep. So you got back to like the 20-yard line for real. Cole took one. Erickson took one. These are all kick returns, and you're not making it. You're really not even making it back to your 25. So these guys weren't really making plays that Ron Rivera wanted to see. Again, Dax Mill took his one punt return 12 yards. Like, he was very decisive. And Dax Mill had a good game overall. Like that catch that he had, like I've never seen that acceleration from him. I'm not saying he never had it, but I just never seen that opportunity where he can catch and run in the way in which he did. And that was very encouraging. And I can see why they like him. I always talked about Cam Sims. I always talked about him having that fit over Dax Mill. And ultimately, I think while Cam Sims is going to be on the team, I don't think he'll be featured as much as I think that he should be, or that others may expect him to be as well. If Dax Mill continues this throughout the preseason, just showing what he can do from a versatility standpoint in the return game and as a receiver, then maybe they see a role carved out for Dax rather than they see one for Cam, or maybe they just use Cam exclusively inside the plus side, like the plus 40 or something like that. Maybe. So yeah, special teams overall, man, it wasn't a good outing. And for all of us who wanted to see like the Alec Ericksons or the guy who got cut and placed or like the injury waiver or whatever it is. Damn, I'm forgetting his name. Sam Houston State guy. I'm gonna just say Sam Houston State. I think that these guys, look, first outing wasn't very impressive. And I don't think Kyrick McGowan is really going to have this opportunity ever again in terms of like having as many returns as he did. I think it's probably going to be Erickson up next, or it's maybe going to be Cole up next, or maybe Dax Mill in terms of returning. Like, he had 3 returns. I don't think he's going to get 3 again. So that's going to be really important to see and take note of moving forward. Because if this return game is ass like in the regular season too, then we got problems, y'all. We got problems. Okay. I don't know if they picked up Graham Gano. Armani Rogers. Nah, hell no. You're not. I like Armani. You are not jumping the gun. And we can go ahead and transition to the offense now. Like special teams, you ain't much to talk about. But we can transition to offense now. We did slightly touch on tight ends already, but I'm a fan of Armani Rogers. And I think, wow, we all understood that he had a good game, right? Let me go ahead and stop sharing, my bad. While we all think and know that he had a good game for the Commanders Saturday, I think it's important to note that that was his very first game at tight end. Whether it's a regular season or exhibition, like for a guy who looked that comfortable, moved as good as he did, like Carson Wentz took shots vertically down the field to Armani Rogers. Like he trusted him in that instance. He gave him opportunities to make plays for Washington because he felt that he can trust Armani Rogers. And I liked how he looked and how he responded. He only had 3 catches. But every catch that he had was because Carson Wentz was looking for him as the check down. Like he was looking for he was looking at Rodgers as the check down. So I love the way that they played together. That was impressive. I want to see Armani get some more vertical shots, and I think he'll have that opportunity again next week. And hopefully he can do it with Cole Turner opposite of him. Like Cole Turner and Armani Rogers in the preseason, just to see what that looks like. The basketball team, that's gonna be something. I don't know how y'all feel about Curtis Hodges in particular, but like I said, I just wasn't that impressed with him. He had 3 catches as well. He had 11 yards, but again, his biggest opportunity was in the red zone at the 1-yard line, and for Curtis Hodges to blow his opportunity of getting a touchdown, the coaches are going to be on that. I don't think that's going to be like a negative, like a permanently negative evaluation of Curtis Hodges, but I think that they're going to give somebody else that opportunity and see if they can execute the same thing that they did with Curtis Hodges on that pick play. Rouse said, I don't like Curtis. That's hilarious. Yeah, the very first third down was a back shoulder to him. Evaluation play. I like that Carson was taking the check downs for sure. And that's the important thing. Like, that's why I'm bringing up Armani. And in a sense, I'm bringing up Curtis too. Like, those were his guys that he targeted when the plays downfield wasn't there. And we can transition to Carson now. Before I continue, grades on Carson. Overall thoughts. You don't have to like make absolutes in this conversation, but what's your initial thoughts on Carson? And for me, I think for a guy who went 10 of 13 for 74 yards, he only averaged 5 yards per attempt or per completion, whatever it is. I still think that was like a C+ B- game, which is good for preseason. Like, I think for what he was saying downfield and what the opportunity, like the way he was processing and the way he was reading the field, he looked very calm. He had some traffic around his feet at times. Antonio Gibson, who we'll get into, that man Antonio Gibson had a poor rep and pass block, which almost led to a strip sack. But Carson Wentz looked calm overall. He found his guys, like when the big play wasn't there, like he even took the shots. Now he underthrew Armani, and he underthrew Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin beat his guy on a sluggo. I know y'all remember that shot downfield. He threw Terry a pass on a sluggo. Excuse me. It was man-to-man coverage, and he had a single high safety over the top to help him. But he underthrew both of those deep passes. But those are the only two that was really bad. He only had 3 incompletions. It was 2 underthrows, and the other one was a drop by Curtis Hodges. So overall, I really thought that Carson had a solid game, man. It was safe. He made the right decisions. He challenged the defense in preseason, understanding that he wants to get on the same accord with these receivers. I liked what I saw from Carson Wentz, and I liked the opportunities. Like, he didn't hesitate. Like, you want to get these vertical shots out the way. You want to make sure that this offense knows that I'm gonna give you this opportunity. I don't care who you are. I'm gonna give you this opportunity. Armani, get ready. I'm gonna throw it to you. Terry, you better believe I'm gonna throw it to you. So I liked what I saw from Carson Wentz overall. Yes, the pocket presence was good. Exactly. That's exactly where I'm getting at. Carolina, from what I saw from the game, the actual game, because I don't have the all 22 for coaches in preseason. Fingers crossed I get it and we can have our film breakdowns live on here, running the games back. But and I'm working on it, so we'll see. But yeah, Carolina forced us to check it down. And that's why I think he was reacting well, like, F it, it's not here, okay. But for him to recognize that Terry McLaurin beat his man, and remember, so specifically, this was right after Terry drew a holding on the same guy. So once that first down got there, all right, let's go ahead and take this shot to Terry. And Terry beat that man off the break. So I liked what I saw from Carson and his recognition and challenging this defense. But for the most part, they was forcing us to check it down. And I think Terry and specifically Carson, I don't know why I mentioned Terry, but I think Carson played this really well. Okay. B+ for me. He didn't make any big mistakes. And here's another thing too. See, so remember this conversation last week, I think it was Wednesday, where I mentioned I had to make an amendment on my Carson Wentz, thoughts and takes. And I had mentioned that I didn't really, and I keep saying this, bro, but like I just really didn't know if everybody understood what they were saying at practice. But I also thought that they were drumming up this accuracy thing because it was regurgitated. Like, they just kept repeating it. So they repeated it, but not even knowing like the full context. So when you repeat things like that, it ultimately becomes a story. It became a story on a national level when the national guys came in here. But how are you going to get that from one day of practice? I don't believe it. Somebody had to tell you that, right? Just to catch you up and get you up to speed. But I say all that to say, for the most part, Carson Wentz was accurate. One of the speed outs that he threw to Terry McLaurin for the first down, I think he ultimately trucked that cornerback. That one, like, that is as perfect as accuracy can get, especially on a sideline route, a breaking out route. He gave the receiver an opportunity to turn up field. Like, he wasn't going out of bounds. It wasn't behind him. Overall, he had an accurate day. Like I said, the two deep balls that he threw, the vertical shots to Terry and Armani, they were underthrown. But in that same vein, when you have 10 completions and those 10 completions look good, you had 2 ones where you're like, all right, I could have gave a better opportunity to my receiver. Overall, accuracy was fine for me. And again, this was one game, but I just think that, again, when you build up a storyline for a week and a half about somebody's accuracy and it didn't look as bad as you want to put out there, like, that's why I'm like, all right, like, I knew some things were bullshit. Some things were bullshit and we had to speak on it. Pocket presence again, yeah, very good. Alex said I'll give him a B flat for all the talk about this. Oh, there you go. We was just talking about that shit. Yeah, he looked in control and took the plays in front of him for sure. And who knows, like, that may even be intentional. Alex and Rich, I think, and obviously Jay Tyler, like, I think that may have been on purpose, like a mental focus, like, hey, Carson, like him talking to himself, hey, Carson, man, look, I know you want to take this shot, but you need to emphasize the fact that these guys below on the short level, they're going to be open for you. Find them, trust them, get the ball to them. And I think that's where Curtis and Armani played a factor. And maybe something that he's working on mentally in preseason for when the regular season comes around, and he knows that he can just go ahead and trust that check down is going to get them positive plays as well. So here we go. If Gibson was safe, they wouldn't have drafted RBs last 3 drafts. Offenses pitch and catch over us with these. Hey, what's going on, Chevy? Appreciate you checking in. Okay, so let's go ahead. We talked about Carson. Let's talk about the dynamic between, because we're definitely going to get into Antonio Gibson, but let's talk about the dynamic between Taylor Heineke and Sam Howell. Let's think about, because I have a theory and I have an argument to be made on these two and why Taylor Heineke's performance was even a better outcome for Sam Howell. Like, Heineke playing bad meant bigger things for Sam Howell. And I want to hear what are y'all thoughts on Taylor? What are y'all thoughts on Sam in comparing them with one another in terms of their performance on Saturday. Take some time out. Let me know what y'all think. And I'm gonna take a sip of water. But before I do that, administrative item. Let's go ahead and get that thing out the way. If you are new to the Trapper Dive, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It does help the show growth. It is truly appreciated. You know that. I'm about to open up the floor to viewers as well. I don't have the StreamYard link in the description for YouTube right now, but I have it in the chat. So let's go ahead and put that thing back in the chat. For anybody that want to come up and talk, don't matter. I'm about to go ahead and give my spiel on Taylor Heineke and Sam Howell. But yeah, let me know what y'all thoughts are. Ralph, I see you. Chevy, I see you. Scott dialed up some butter plays. Hey, I'm gonna show y'all something with Curtis Samuel that was actually a scheme call. I like what Kurt. I'm gonna tap into that before I tap into Taylor and Sam. Okay. He knows the big plays will come. I believe Scott and Zampese, Ken Zampese stresses to him. There are a lot of big plays to be had in this offense for sure. And Logan Paulson does a good job breaking down this team, obviously, right? But Logan, mentioned that Scott has a lot of cover 3 beaters in his offense. I think cover 2 beaters in his offense. So, like, when those opportunities come, like, those are the defenses specifically that, the big plays will come from. I know it's preseason, but Scott dialed up some butter plays. So, let me see if I can find the one for for Curtis Samuel. I'm sure I will. I'm actually do a quick Twitter search. Tripping. Curtis Samuel. On the 3rd down call, that was very important. I liked how Curtis Samuel looked too, by the way. I think we could dead all that noise about his injuries. Again, y'all know that I brought up some theories as well. And I was a little protrude by an idea of a plan, or what the hell the plan is for Curtis Samuel. But I'm part of that. I'm deading all the noise. Like, I do want to see him stack those practices. I do want to see him stack those games up. But I do like the fact that, the plan that Ron Rivera said that they have for him is clearly working, or that it's coming to fruition. I think that's the bigger thing. So I'm gonna stop talking about injuries with Curtis Samuel. I'm gonna stop talking about all those things. I'll believe it when I see it in terms of him being fully healthy. But if this is a step in the right direction in terms of their plan for him, I'm all for it. Keep on doing your thing. All right, here we go. Shout out to my boy Kyle, the Burgundy Zone. I don't want to rush into Sam's development though. He can clearly show he can do it. I know the scheme call. Yeah. Hey, he on it. Ralph is on it. Hey, hell yeah. Hey, shout out to hell yeah, bro. That's exactly what I'm about to show. Hell yeah. All right, so look, here we go right here. Let me go ahead and remove the remove this thing right here. Hell yeah, Ralph is on it. Here we go. Let me actually see if I can full screen this. All right, bet. So start it over. Oh, he missed the motion part. Damn it, Cal. But yeah, shout out to Cal. He got to play for me. So early on, we all know it, but this is a 3rd down call, and he has Curtis Samuel coming to motion, and this is Armani Rogers right here. Now, if there is one thing that I do want to talk about Armani Rogers with, even though this worked for Washington on this play, and that's perfectly fine. So don't, this is, it is what it is. It's all part of the play. I'll let it run so we can talk about it. Man-to-man situation right here. And when Armani's getting jammed like that as well, it also helps. It helps slow down any type of defender that's trying to cover Curtis Samuel. But also, when you have a guy in motion like that, one thing that's hard to do when you have that motion man, and he's clearly off the line of scrimmage, so I would imagine this is their Z receiver in this instance. But I mean, alignment doesn't matter. He's just off ball. He's hard to get pressed. Like you can't jam a receiver like this. So in a third down call, you have to move the sticks. You can't even put your hands on Curtis Samuel. So that's another thing too that was really important with this play. So again, boom, he sells the pivot, and he sells the pivot so good that he thinks that the cornerback that's checking him thinks that, okay, he's going on a crosser, but he's not. It's just a pivot route. Bring him back outside, wide open. Curtis Samuel showed that good change of direction, able to show the acceleration after the catch to get that first down on a third down call. So sometimes when people talk about preseason and hey, shout out to my boy Ralph. He called that shit. Hell yeah. That was a very good call. But when people talk about how preseason doesn't really matter, there are some things that you take away. Like we talked about certain players already to this point in the stream. We talked about Scott Turner. Alex brought him up. And Ralph talked about the scheme call right here, third down. There are certain things that you want to see in preseason from an evaluation standpoint, and also from a unit standpoint. And these guys executed this to perfection. The only thing that I say again, look at Armani Rogers. That's my guy. He had hands on him like that. He was able to fight through the pressure, and I liked how he was able to move this guy upfield. And that's fine. But eventually, at some point, you need to have a plan against press coverage and man coverage, tight man coverage. So again, he was big and strong in this instance and was able to take the guy upfield and carry him upfield. But let's kind of work on that release versus press. But overall, man, again, Scott dialed him up. For sure. That was very impressive to see. And shout out to Ralph, because he definitely called that shit. That was exactly the thing. That we were talking about. So let's get back to, because Curtis Samuel, again, he had 2 touches, slight, but also good to see him in that situation. But Sam Howell, Taylor Heinicke. Taylor led a 15-play drive. He led a 15-play drive that led into a goddamn interception. And when people, yes sir, I got you. When people are talking about Taylor Heinicke is one of the best backups in the league, I get it. And I'm not saying he is. Like, I'm not saying he bottom half. I think he's one of the better backups in the league. But I also think that, eventually, backups are replaceable. Especially when you have a quarterback waiting in the wings. So for me, when you talk about Taylor Heinicke, that drive, that 15-play drive, it ended because of Taylor Heinicke. And I'm not even just talking about the interception. The entire sticks, like the first down, the second down, and the third down, were due to inaccurate passes / sailing of the football, a poor decision, and then it led to an incomplete. And then the third down call, he sailed the pass, and it was picked off. So points were erased off the board off of 3 straight poor plays from Taylor Heinicke. And sure, his legs are good. And I like the fact that, he's able to extend with his legs and make plays with his legs. But I also think that ultimately, from a quarterback standpoint, I don't think he plays in the same vein or the same way that Sam Howell does. And I think Sam Howell, a person who, because we know what Taylor Heinicke does, we know who he is. Like, this is a person who he was last year. Sails passes, those passes get picked off. He's not comfortable in the pocket too much. And all those things are something that stands up, right? Or that stands out. But for Washington, when you get Sam Howell in there, this is one game and you want to see more where, like, he handled the pressure well. Of course he got sacked. Like, it's not much you can do when there's pressure in your face immediately. Sometimes you have to eat the ball, and it is what it is. But when he had chances to fight, Sam Howell did, he escaped the pocket. Sam Howell escaped the pocket. He was able to lose defenders in the backfield or break tackles in the backfield to extend plays. One of the plays where he broke tackles in the backfield, he connected deep downfield, but there was a flag. I think it was like a face mask call or illegal hands to the face or something like that negated it. But it showed what Sam Howell could do from a a pressure standpoint and being able to connect downfield. Always having his eyes downfield is something that's important. But back to the comparison. My whole point of this is Sam Howell is a much better thrower of the football in the pocket. He's more consistent and he seemed more comfortable. And this is one game in terms of the pro level. But I think when people talk about Sam Howell is like a better Taylor Heineke, I don't think they play alike. And I don't think people factor in the fact that Sam Howell is also a better quarterback in the pocket. Like, Sam Howell is also a person who will sit in the pocket and go through his reads and continue to make plays through that way. Like, I think that's the difference. Like, of course they're both 6 feet. Of course they have some mobility. No, of course they both have mobility. Sam Howell has some. Taylor Heineke has a lot. Like, Taylor Heineke ran like a 4.6. I think Sam ran like a 4.8. So that kind of shows you the difference in speed. But I just think that when we talk about what these guys do, the only true similarity is that they're both 6 feet. That's it. So I think that people need to understand Antonio Gibson and Williams led a 15-play drive. Tyler Huntley is the best backup quarterback. We need to give up on the whole Taylor Heineke thing. Here we go. If Taylor has to play more than 3 games this season, I'm afraid Howell like the QB with the first round grade. Howell's a product of 5 years in D1 school. Sam is better not to always be the hero. That's clear. And yeah, where I'm getting at, like, to this whole thing, man. I just think that narrative and saying that we have 2 Taylor Heinekes on the roster just isn't true. Taylor Heineke is an entity within itself, and he's not a terrible quarterback. I just think you understand his limitations. But how's a 6 feet quarterback and Sam Howell being able to look as comfortable as he is now? When people talk about who he's playing up against, sure, he's playing up against 3rd and 4th stringers. But I've said this countless times. It doesn't matter where you start. Like, if you're good, it's going to be hard for coaches. It's going to be hard for people to understand or deny that. And while Sam Howell had some misses, like, I think, because I have to be balanced in this one, same thing I did with Carson Wentz and his shots downfield. I think Sam Howell's inaccuracy became problematic in the red zone. He had a couple bad misses in the red zone, off target throws. And I think that's where his problems came in. But overall, from a big standpoint, like, think about the 3rd downs he converted. He converted a goddamn 3rd and 11, I think. Let me try to find it so I go by the play-by-play with Sam Howell. Like, on the scoring drives, that man converted 2 3rd and longs. A 3rd and 9 that went for 27 yards. And then the second touchdown drive, he converted a 3rd and 14. That was the one where it was a flag on him. Wait, who was this one on? Sam Howell, Alex Erickson, penalty on Washington, sportsmanlike conduct. I don't remember this one. But anyway, he converted 2 3rd and longs. It was a 3rd and 10 that went for 9. That went for that 4th one. Yeah, so it was a 3rd and 14 and then a 3rd and 9 on 2 separate drives, like, to keep those drives alive. And ultimately, all I'm saying is, from a comfortability standpoint, he played well, but from a negative side, I think he wasn't as good as he could be on the plus side of the field, specifically in the red zone, from throwing the football. But overall, man, like, Sam is a guy, like, if you're going to continue to screw up in the which way that Taylor did, like, killing drives, preseason is going to matter for Taylor. Preseason is really going to matter for Taylor. And you can't deny a guy in Sam Howell who is, while he's playing against 3rd stringers and playing with 3rd stringers, if he continues to play well and he continues to have opportunities, maybe even against 2nd stringers, like, they may try and test him out and see what he looks like against 2nd stringers. Like, that's even a bigger identifier in terms of what the coaches think about Taylor Heineke. So if you're seeing, Taylor Heineke, but if you're seeing Sam Howell in there with the 2s, he's getting his shot. Hey, what's going on, big dog? Pro Tech up in this thing right now. So yeah, I think he's getting his shot, bro. But we're good. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I just want to say that I don't think Taylor is in no way, shape, or form similar to Sam Howell. I just think the only similarity is that they're 6 feet. I think that they have two different play styles. I think one is better in the pocket as a thrower. One can stay, he's comfortable in the pocket, sitting in the pocket, finding his guys and working his reads. I think that's all Sam Howell, and Taylor's problematic for me. Let's go ahead and catch up on some of these comments. Ralph is on point though with Taylor, because Taylor is the hero ball type of guy, or maybe just trying to survive with his legs versus sticking in and throwing the football. You can tell Howell has that swag, just keeping quiet, waiting his turn. That's another thing too. Like, ain't nothing worse than the guy that they tell you don't worry about. Hey, listen, that man Sam Howell got drafted in, and he got drafted as a third string quarterback for Washington. And for Washington to draft him, there is absolutely no pressure on Sam Howell, except for he just got to go out there and have fun. Obviously play well, and obviously give the coaches something to show or something to see. But in that same vein, when you have that type of lax opinions or lax pressure, like there's nothing there for you, that can only make you, especially a person who was projected as a first round pick at one point, that can only make you play even better. Like, they're gonna take their time to invest in you. They're gonna take their time to teach you. It ain't like that you got to get on the field right now. They got Carson Wentz in front of you, bruh. But guess who also in front of you? A guy who was just out of the league 2 years ago. So hell yeah. It ain't nothing worse than the guy they tell you don't worry about, because goddamn it, you better make sure that you on your shit. And Taylor Heineke knows that, like he had said at some point during the offseason, that he wasn't upset that there was a quarterback, there wasn't a quarterback competition between him and Carson Wentz, because he know that he didn't play good enough in 2021. But guess what? You better be concerned if you continue to, like, that 15-play drive. You better be goddamn concerned, because if that 15-play drive ends in something with a touchdown, then maybe you all right. But the way it ended was something very similar to the things that you did last year. I'm gonna circle back to this one, because we about to touch into Antonio Gibson right after we catch up with these comments. Crucify me if y'all want. Sam got some rust in him. All right, Sam got a little bit of rust in him. All right, third down was on a deep end, and they came back to the same play. It was lovely. How processes the offense better. This is Heineke's 4th, 5th year in the offense. You honestly couldn't tell the way Sam played compared to Taylor. I mean, overall, I do think that, Taylor made some good reads. Like, he connected with De'Ami Brown a couple times on that drive. I just think when he got on that plus side of the field, and it's so funny, because I was laughing looking at the game again, because when he converted that first down with his stick, with his legs, and moved his sticks. Taylor Heineke did the little celebration, and that's where everything went wrong. The next 3 plays, he fucked up. I was like, bruh, this is the worst time for you to have a bad performance. Like, you just got done celebrating off some plays you made with your legs. Now you gotta make plays with your arms, and you fuck up. But yeah, I love to see Sam get a crack with the 2s. Yeah, man, it was kind of interesting. Okay, let me see if I made sure we caught up with all the. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, man, we'll see what that storyline is looking like. Hopefully, I think Sam may ultimately get like a full game, like whatever game that they're not going to play all their starters, or maybe give their starters one series and they're done or something. I don't know. I think Sam may ultimately get a whole game coming up soon, if not the third preseason game. So we'll see. But let's get into Antonio Gibson. A lot of people aren't catching on to this, and we'll circle back to the root of the problem, but a lot of people aren't catching on to this. And I think that, so I'll read the quotes and then we'll circle back to like my actual theory. So after the game, and I think we all heard it to this point. But I want people to hear what he said once more. When he was asked about Antonio Gibson's fumbling issues, Ron Rivera said this: Antonio's got to run harder. When he starts to shuffle and go sideways, that's when he struggles. When he goes hard, we saw that when he came back in the second half, he put his shoulder down and ran hard. That is what he's capable of doing. That is when he is at his best. So we talked about that. I'm very pleased with how he came back in the second half and ran the ball. He has one more comment on Antonio Gibson when he was asked about Brian Robinson. Here we go. I think this is it. Here it goes. On Brian Robinson, I thought Brian showed us why we drafted him, and that's the downhill physical presence on the inside. He runs with a good lean. He moves the power, one of those things to create energy and sets the tone for offensive line. Then you have backstarter change-ups, and it's a little different. And I think that goes well for us. So I was pretty excited what we got. Antonio coming in the second half and sticking his foot in the ground and not trying to do this how he did last year early in the season. And I'm telling you this, guy. I'm telling you this so you guys can remind him that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him go one cut and get going. That's when he's at his best, so that's good to see. Now I'm gonna give y'all like 2 seconds. What was the tone behind Coach Rivera's response to Antonio Gibson fumbling? Think about it. Give it 2 seconds. What was Rivera's tone based on those quotes about Antonio Gibson's fumbling issues? All right. Gibson does what all coaches say. He turns the ball over. He never spoke on Gibson play like that. Let 8 rock. So for me, disappointment. He was disappointed for sure. Non-committal. Okay. He definitely didn't commit to anything. Here's the most important thing. He didn't even fucking talk about the fumble. He didn't even talk about his fumbling issues. He never spoke on the fumble. Like Ralph said, he spoke on Gibson's play. He never spoke on the fumbles. And what I think Rivera did, and what I think nobody else is catching when Rivera spoke like this, is not that he didn't have a problem with Antonio Gibson's fumbling. I think Ron knew if he acknowledged it publicly, it'll become a bigger problem because the media may make it a bigger story. It's a big story, but I'm saying if he acknowledges it to the media, storylines and articles will become written on Antonio Gibson and Ron Rivera's response to Antonio Gibson. Rivera is concerned. Rivera is frustrated with Antonio Gibson. But he's not going to show that to the media. He's going to critique his game, and he's going to tell everybody what he has to do from a skill standpoint, something that we already know. But he's not going to talk about those fumbles because once that conversation starts, it will not stop. If you all remember, we all saw Antonio Gibson on the sideline after that fumble. Charles Leno had to come over there and tell him, like, bruh, shake that shit off because you're getting back into the game. He told him, shake that shit off because you're getting back into the game. But Antonio Gibson is on a knee, squatting, whatever, shaking his head, upset, like moving back and forth, like a little erratic on the sideline in terms of like his reaction and his mental, I guess in a mental standpoint, how he reacted to those fumbles or that fumble. And it's very inopportune because, or unfortunate because, you know, he's going down to the ground. So it's not like somebody truly punched the ball out in terms of like him standing up or getting the ball ripped out. Like he's going down to the ground and the ball gets exposed and somebody's smart enough to punch at that as he's going down to the ground. But I think Antonio Gibson is in trouble, but Ron Rivera does not want the media to know that he's in trouble. I'm sorry nobody really speak on that aspect. It's what he didn't say. Like, of course you could break down his game, but we want to know about his ball security. And a situation like that, it's a reason why you got benched, bruh. Like, they put Brian Robinson in, and when they put Brian Robinson in, he had that whole drive. He had 8 touches on that 14-play drive. Brian Robinson did. And then when Antonio Gibson came back in, he split carries on that drive with Jonathan Williams. And when it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, when Antonio Gibson got the ball on that 3rd down and he didn't get any yards, they said, get out of here. We're going to put Jonathan Williams in. Jonathan Williams got that 1st down and extended the drive. When it comes to Antonio Gibson, Rivera is not going to tell the media that he's mad or that he's frustrated with Antonio Gibson fumbling. But I think his response to directly talk about his play versus the actual issue is something where he's trying to monitor and control the narrative behind Antonio, which is perfectly fine. But it's not showcasing his true frustration, because if he was truly interested in responding to it, he probably would have talked about it like he did last year at times. Like, that is important. So no, I don't. Hold on, wait. Let's go ahead and scroll down. Let me catch up to some of these jumps. Actually, let me go ahead and get my boy Tony on here. Gibby is in big trouble. Shorty needs to hold on to the ball. I was solid. Red zone throws inaccurate. Yeah, that's all facts. So yeah, to y'all point, yeah, he didn't bring it up at all. Exactly. I'm glad you caught on to that. They're resigned to the fact that he's turnover prone. And now if they're resigned to the fact that he's turnover prone, that's even worse. Yeah, man, well, he gonna give us a fumble or two. We gonna be all right. But nah, Hawk is right. Gibby value dropped after that play, especially with Robinson playing the way he did. No doubt, got to navigate the media like Minesweeper, non-aggressive. What's going on, Yak? Appreciate you checking in this morning. Happy Monday to everybody, man. Hey, I'm off today, bruh. So, and while I could do this show for like 5 hours, I ain't doing this show for 5 hours, man. But happy Monday, man. I'm happy to bring this in with y'all, talk a little Commanders football. Let me go ahead and put the link back into the chat as well. We still are, because we haven't even touched on Brian Robinson into its full extent just yet. But we're still on Antonio Gibson here. Yak, non-aggressive. Gibby on the hot seat, possibly cut. Ralph mentioned possible cut. But facts, B-Rod did everything Gibby could do on one drive. Now, to Alex's point, because I agreed with Alex, and I'm about to come down to his comment in a second. Good analysis. He's protecting his player. He definitely is, man. He's protecting this guy, and that's smart for him to do. But ultimately, and this is like my bottom line with Antonio Gibson. This is my bottom line with Antonio Gibson and that defensive line. Now, this is indirect, but like apply it. Apply what I'm about to say to Antonio Gibson and Ron Rivera to the defensive line too. You can't hide from what we're seeing on the field. So, you know, that defensive line fired Sam Mills, said that was a scapegoat. And I think Sam Mills needed to go in like January, February personally. So him being gone, it is what it is. But now you have Jack Del Rio out there and you have your new guy. But when it comes to Antonio Gibson, you can't protect him but for so long, because if he continues to fumble or if he continues to struggle, you cannot swerve these questions like he did in preseason. You can't do it. It's impossible. Like, the questions are going to get more direct. People are going to want to know what's going on. So yeah, it ain't no protecting. But to Alex's point about the cutting part, and this is why I agree with him. Doubt they cut him because of talent and depth, but he needs to walk around, practice with the rock, and work on protecting the ball though through and after contact. So here's the thing with the talent part. I think that he's a talented player. I think he's an athlete. But ask yourself this. And let me pull up the numbers too. Let me pull up the numbers before I ask you all. Let me see if I can find, where is he at? Box score. Antonio, where is he at? 4 carries, 2 yards. Ouch. Let's do stats. Okay. Ask yourself this. For a running back who has all the talent in the world from an athletic standpoint. And we understand that he's a converted wide receiver. Like, we're past that point now. He's in year 3 of being a running back, like a full-time running back. He only had a long of 40 yards as a rusher. That was his rookie season. And I think that was against Dallas, if I recall correctly. It was a 40-yarder against Dallas. A depleted Dallas defense at that. And a sorry Dallas defense at that. And then his longest after that was 27. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying he's terrible. I just want to say, like, when it comes to what's the word I'm thinking of? Starts with a P. Why am I drawing a blank? Potential. Oh my God. Potential. Like, my thing is, at what point do you stop saying a player has potential when, you know, that potential isn't coming or isn't being shown to light? Like, we know what he has from an athletic standpoint, but how are you going to bring that potential out of him? You can't. I personally won't continue to say that a person has potential, you know, if I'm not seeing it. If I'm not seeing it on the field, if I'm not seeing improvement on the field. And for Gibson, I don't want to make a huge story out of 4 carries. I want to make a huge story out of the fumbling part, because the fumbling is going to keep him off the field. And then you won't see that potential. You won't see anything like that. So I doubt that they cut him, to Alex's point. I think that he is the 3. He is part of the main 3. And Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, J.D. McKissick. The 4th is going to be left up to, if they keep 4, which I do think they keep 4, it's going to be left up to Jonathan Williams or Jared Patterson. And I think Jonathan Williams may have the edge over him. But again, when we go back to potential, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm personally not going to keep hearing saying, like, that man has potential when, you know, he ain't really, it's not coming up. It's not showing me anything. I think he's a talented player, and I think that being a number 1 back is probably problematic for him. I think if you can limit his carries from 258 that he had last year to maybe around 150, 160, then maybe you're doing your team a better service, because you have running backs behind him and J.D. McKissick and Brian Robinson, who are just as effective ball carriers, if not better than Antonio Gibson. That is where I'm at. We ain't talking about potential no more. We need to see production. And production, you know, is not really subjective. Like, it's very based on matter of facts. Okay. Everything, even the screenplay, running backs. Doesn't want to crush his confidence. Yes. Gibby has that breakaway speed to take it to the top. Robinson will be a steady for a top runner. Nah, I don't. People got Brian can scoot. And if he hit that hole, bruh, Brian can take off for more than 20. We understand that, you know, Gibson got that 4.3 speed, but Gibson also never ran for more than 40 yards on a run. Like, we just talked about that. I don't know what time you came in, AJ, but appreciate you checking in. But yeah, like, Gibson, for as fast as he is, you know, he's never ran for more than 40 yards on a longest rush. So that can kind of tell you kind of where they're at. Like, it doesn't matter, like, your true speed. Like, LeGarrette Blount had a 70-yard touchdown run. That man don't run no 4.3. LeGarrette Blount ran a 70-yard touchdown run before. And other people, Marshawn, he don't run no 4.3. Marshawn went for 50-yarder before. Think about the playoffs. What was that, like a 40-something yarder? So people understand, like, when you see that that opportunity with Brian Robinson and he sees the hole properly and he can explode through the gap, that is talent. That is somebody who gets it. That is somebody who processes as quickly as possible. So I just want people to understand that part too, from a back standpoint. But to your point, AJ, and that he doesn't want to crush his confidence, I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you. Okay, so we got my boy Tone checking in. Let me go ahead and take this down. Hold on 1 second. Where is the music at? We're gonna cut that music off for a second. Boom. Add my boy Tone to the screen. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Boom. My boy Protech up in this thing. What's going on, big dog?
What's up? What up, Maul? What's going on?
Ain't shit, man. I can't call it, bro. How you feeling today? Everything all right?
Everything all right, bro. Just got to work. You know what I'm saying? About to get this shift in, but I had to chop off my
Yeah,
man
get
real
that money,
quick.
big dog. Talk to me, man. What's going on with the Commanders? What you got on your mind?
Man, I'm just tired of Gibby fumbling the ball. That's it, bro. Like, the rest of the team was solid. I mean, outside the linebackers looked a little shaky, but it's just Gibby got to stop fumbling the ball, bro. It's just got to stop. It's got to stop, bro. He has to understand ball security is actually more important than any potential you got, bro. It's more important than any talent, with your speed, all that. Ball security and vision are the most important things a running back should have, and he's lacking in both departments.
Ball security is job security, bro. That's the most important thing. That's what they try to stress to these guys. And I think for me, man, when we talk about Antonio, I don't know like if there's a threshold for the coaches because they're clearly hanging on to the potential part. You know what it is like. And I also think that he should be on the team. Like Alex said, he shouldn't be getting cut. But I think he disconnected. I'm gonna continue with this conversation. And hopefully he pops back in. I'll bet. Uh-oh. But I'm gonna repeat when he comes back. But I think for Gibson, it has to be a limit for coaches this year, understanding that the issues that he had last year, like 6 fumbles that he had in 2021. If you already had one of your first game as a Commander, the first preseason game, I think if you're seeing like 2 fumbles, 3 fumbles early on, I think you're talking about a guy who's probably even getting less than 160 carries. Like it may drastically drop from a guy who was actually projected to be a vital part for the offense. I don't know how you feel about that one though.
I can agree with that. I was thinking in my mind too. Like if you're like 4 or 5 games in the season, he's already fumbled twice. He probably really get to 10, maybe 12 carries a week max. I don't really see more than that. I definitely feel like that Brian Robinson has better vision because he secures the ball better. I think it's like that helps him a lot more because that allows him to, okay, he might not be the most breakaway guy in the world. He might not take a 70 to the crib, but he'll give you 18 carries, 100 yards a week, every week if possible, and will hold on to the ball. And he will get first down on short yard situation, unlike Antonio Gibson. So,
that's a fact.
I
So
think
talk
that's
to me,
killing
man.
him, bro.
Talk to me. You said, Gibson was an issue. You said the linebackers was a little concerning.
Oh, the
what were
secondary
some
was
things?
trash.
Talk to me about your observations from that defense. Whichever angle that you want to go, you got the floor. What you thinking about?
All right, so I'm gonna start with the secondary. The secondary was absolutely trash. It was absolutely horrendous. It was bad. They couldn't cover a soul. They couldn't cover nothing. They just couldn't cover anything. I don't know what Jack Del Rio. I understand it's vanilla and it's preseason and all that. But y'all need to find a way to cover these people, bro. Like, no jam at the line of scrimmage, no nothing. It was just no type of coverage. No coverage skills at all from them boys on Saturday. It was bad. The linebackers couldn't cover either, but at least it was more the backups and not the starters. Because Jamin and Cole looked okay. They didn't look bad covering.
Cole had one. He had one problem. I think he got lost in coverage, or
he got lost
coverage
one
call.
time.
The one
wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, outside that one time wasn't that bad, but like the backups were horrible. David Mayo did not need to be on the field at all, and the fact that he's one injury away is scaring the hell out of me. Yeah, I think that was my problems for Saturday, bro. Like the secondary needs better communication outside of one play that Baker Mayfield tried to throw that deep ball to the end zone and Bobby McCain and Will Jack were right there to stop the play. The communication was bad otherwise. The communication was horrible. They just did not cover us all. I don't know what's going on.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I just think it was Danny Johnson. I ain't gonna lie. I felt bad because I started the show talking about Danny Johnson. I was like, bro, this guy, we need St. Juice back because god damn, like Danny was getting picked on. He had I think he gave up 4 or 5 catches in the first half. Like that was a problem.
He literally gave up 5 catches. Like, Danny Johnson was horrible, bro. He was absolutely trash, bro. But I'm about to go ahead and roll, man. Shout out to Maul, man. Shout out to Shopper Diane. Put you on the channel, bro. Hit me up for a collab.
Hey, look, man, we've been talking this 2 months. God damn it. We gotta get that. We gotta get that thing done. But I'm gonna tap in with you for sure this week, see what we can do.
I bet say less.
Alrighty, bro. Be safe, bro.
You too, big dog.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, let me go ahead and get which here we go. Back to that's my boy Protect, man. If you already know him, then you probably already subscribed to him, but make sure you hit that subscribe button on that channel right there. But yeah, there we go. Brian Antonio Gibson. I think to Ralph's point, that's why we're so frustrated with the turnovers. It's because we fuck with Antonio Gibson, man. He's an exciting player. That's always going to be the case. He's an exciting player because you kind of know what he brings. Like, he's a bowling ball. Like, for a guy that's what 6 feet, 6'1", 230. As much as he struggles in terms of with ball security, he's a guy who. See, man, when I drink so much water, bro, I have these issues. But as a person, when we talk about ball security, as big as he is from a running back standpoint, 6'1", 6'2", or whatever, 230, like, he's still hard to tackle. And that's like, you see that much when he gets his carries, bro, and when you start feeding him and he gets that confidence. Like, we all are fans of that man, Antonio Gibson. So like, you want to hang on as much as possible, and clearly from a coaching standpoint, they're doing as much as they can to kind of, you know, stay tuned and stay locked in with Antonio. So we got another guy checking in, my boy, former Jaguar, Charles Herbert. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna talk about it ain't no Jacksonville Jaguar up in this thing. Former Jaguar, my man Alex.
What's the business, man? What's going on?
Ain't much, bro. Ain't much. How you feeling, big dog?
I'm good, man. Another day to it, another blessing indeed, man. You know how it is.
Already. So my man Ralph said the cornerback depth scares him. Before we get into some of your thoughts, what do you think about the cornerback depth overall? How do you feel about their play Saturday, but also just overall? Do you think that these guys are in good position heading into the season?
Outside of the one touchdown pass that we did allow from Sam Darnold, I know Kendall was, you know, covering on that one. I guess the pass off was good, but he just really wasn't in the best position to make the play. But from Ballsby, Danny Johnson, he kind of really disappointed me because they were picking on him a lot. Like, they just kept going at DJ. I'm just like, dog, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're just better suited outside, but either way, versatility is a key thing in this offense, and he did not show that he was able to do that. So I'm just like, damn, BSJ, hurry up and come back. I think we do have some decent guys. 16, I forgot his name, was nice. I saw Percy flash a little bit. Yeah, so I saw a couple of the guys flash. So I'm like, all right, you know, but I want to just save my comments until this second game against Kansas City because they should tighten up. You know, it's their first action, settling in. I'm like, okay, cool, because the third-string guys, fourth-string guys, they came to play. They kind of rallied behind Sam and his push and gave us the chance to actually win the game towards the end. So I'm just like, okay, but the coaching's there. The attitude is there. I just want to see the energy. Let me just see what they're doing week 2 or preseason, and then I'll see where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think Kendall had a brain freeze. I mean, it's a touchdown, but it's a touchdown that happened in preseason. So I think that he'll be more aware moving forward. Obviously, it's a learning thing. So maybe he understands, like, when he sees those concepts or he passes off to, you know, don't have your eyes too deep into the backfield. and maybe you can see things coming up to your side. And from other guys, I honestly think it was only, again, hate to say it, I think it was really only mainly one person getting picked on, and that was goddamn
DJ
Danny Johnson. And like they was moving the ball off him, and then obviously like the biggest play was Cole Holcomb and his coverage mishap, whatever it was, whether he thought they was in man or zone. I really think it only came down to one person in like two plays in particular. So I like to see, like you said, I want to see what week 2 look like, see how they bounce back from a understanding of what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to be, and see how that bounces back. But overall, I think the depth is fine because you mentioned, Alex, you mentioned Percy Butler. There's some versatility with the safeties and what they can do on the field as well. If you have Cam Curl playing in the slot on occasion, or have Percy Butler playing in the slot on occasion, I think that kind of maximizes the versatility that we talk about all the time. Yeah. So as long as Danny Johnson on that 4th, 5th string, you know what I'm saying, he ain't on the field. Hey, I'm fine.
Derek Forrest
Don't
too.
put that man on the field with the starters. They gonna pick on him every time, bro.
Yeah, man.
They gonna pick on that man every time. But talk to me, man. What you got? What you got going on? What's on your mind with these Commanders?
I want to definitely say, I know I mentioned it on your last show that I wanted to see Carson connect with all three receivers. Outside of him not being able to connect with Dotson, and that was because of the PI that was on Terry on the other side. It was just good to see Curtis catch the ball, take a tackle, get back up, and look like him, a semblance of his old self, And you mentioned it earlier, a lot of guys talking about Carson's inaccuracies. I love the fact that he did start off early, taking the layups, going on Marty Rogers. I'm like, there's a lot of easy plays to be had in this offense. And like you said, it's preseason, but the concepts in which Scott Turner decided to run, I was very much satisfied with what I saw out of the offense. It looked like the ball was going to be able to move. It didn't look tough. It didn't look rough. Like they were able to get the chunks of yards they needed, and it looked good. I also felt that there were a lot of coaching points in this preseason as far as finishing the game strong, but finishing it cleanly. I think it was William Bradley King that had a chance to end the game. Then he got the helmet, the face mask on Matt Corral. I'm like, Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got there, but, you make that tackle, that's GG's, bro. The game's over. You know what I'm saying?
Before you go, it's so frustrating how Corral looked like ass and led a game-winning drive. Like, he got a game-winning drive under this stat book now. I'm like, bro, you ain't do a damn thing all game. Shit, and a penalty helped y'all getting the goddamn field goal territory. But back to your points, man. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, man. It was definitely something. I'm really just I'm more so for me. I told you I wanted to see Sam Howell. I told you I want to see Brian Robinson. So I'm really happy in what I saw. As far as the defense is concerned, again, I'm just saving my breath because I just want to see what's going to happen week 2. They should settle in. Big Phil, bro, solid as shit along the line, bro. Like Shawty. He is as advertised, man. Like the run defense, I know we're going to probably miss Tim Settle because, he would have been a great depth piece. But Ron and them, when they drafted these guys, they had a plan. And it was actually good to see these guys see it come to fruition. I believe if Cole Turner was playing, that's my boy, he was going to see those early looks. And I love the fact that Carson was trusting to actually go out there and go get it. So he took his shots when they were there. Again, I'm really happy with how the offense did turn out. But I'm going to just save my breath for the defense, man. I'm really I like the direction we had there.
Hey, Phil had himself a good game. John Allen had himself a good game.
Yes,
that boy Daniel Wise had himself a good game. And I think that was important because for a guy who had the pass rush skills from a toolbox standpoint, Daniel Wise showed out in his first game. And when you have that type of stuff pop on film off the rip, bro, they're going to give you more opportunities. Yep. So if he can continue showing that he can be at least a depth piece or at least a situational pass rusher, I think that interior line is going to be in good hands between Allen, Payne, and Daniel Wise. So I'm very interested in seeing Daniel Wise moving forward. Not even from a stamp that he could be a superstar, but if you can add him to that rotation, they're gonna be all right.
Yeah, excellent.
They're gonna be all right.
Constant pressure all the way through, man. No matter who's in it, you're getting constant pressure.
And what you think about I don't know if you had anything to say about the offensive line. I just wanted to make sure we had that conversation, or at least I had the conversation before I got off of here. What do you think about that starting offensive line for all of the conversation about the injuries and the rotations? I didn't even realize Keith Ishmael was starting, bro. I had to watch the game over again. I was like,
that was him at center?
Yeah, 60. Because I was like, who the hell is this?
Oh, man, okay.
Keith Ishmael was starting because Sadiq Charles was hurt. So he didn't play. And then obviously we know Rouillet is coming back from his injury, so he didn't play. So I was like, God damn, and Trey Turner was hurt too. So Keith Ishmael was playing. So I was like, damn, what you think about that offensive line though?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the one thing I do want to say Ron and Cole really did a good job of, because last year Ron mentioned that if you're having injuries, like injuries are gonna happen, the guys are gonna get banged up. You want to make sure that your O-line still has that depth. And no matter who's in, the whole offense and everything can produce and flow seamlessly. And that's exactly what we saw. I mean, Keith did a good job against the ones out there. I can't wait to see what it looks like once Chase is back out there, once Trey is back out there. Like, then it's going to really start to get dominant. But I was really impressed with the O-line overall. Wes Schweitzer is just an outstanding swing guard, whatever we need him to be. They did their job, man. They created holes with Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, who couldn't take advantage of them,
Oh, carries 2 yards. Boy, that thing and a fumble. God damn. God bless
Outside of
him, bro.
that
For real
though,
though.
bless him for real, man. That's my boy, and I'm really hoping and rooting for him. But you got it's no excuses at this point. But overall though, the O line I'm definitely impressed with so far. I love the fact that we do have guys that can fill in no matter who's in. If our starters go down, we have guys that can come in and be competent, and that's a true strength. That's a true strength because late into the October, November games, you're gonna need that. You don't know who's gonna be around, who's gonna be available. I love the fact though that we've kept the O line depth, and it's solid for us. It's solid.
Absolutely. I got one more question for you too. But Ralph, talk to me. What's the differences on Payne? What you think the differences are? Because you may be surprised by my response. Hey, so Alex, you was at the game, so I want to make sure I talk to somebody because I thought that. What do you think about everything that was there? I don't know what time you got there per se, but what do you think about the whole day at the stadium? The uniforms, the field. Man, I thought the field was. I saw some people critiquing like the end zone. And I just overall thought everything was clean. Like I don't know, maybe
Right.
they said it could have been a different color or whatever in the end zone, but overall I thought that was clean. And the uniforms that looked better on TV than any pictures couldn't do it justice, bro.
Man. So I went up there with my shorty and everything, and she was like, "Yo, these uniforms." I'm like, "Man, they just busting these out right now." I'm thinking they about to come out with the burgundy when they announced the whites. I'm like, okay, but as far as the whole overall experience, the energy was definitely dope as shit in the whole entire building. Everybody was just anxious to catch a little bit of the first Commanders action, and I felt like it was like a really pivotal moment, even for me, just taking it in. I'm like, damn, man, like we really here. Football's back. But the field looked immaculate. I think during the regular season they may make the end zones burgundy. I mean, we got some entitled fans, but they're gonna complain about anything, bro. But the energy was there, man. It just looked and felt great. The atmosphere was amazing, man. People really, we just want a winner, and you can tell people are just anxious to get behind a winning something. So it was dope, bro. Dope experience all around, man.
Already, man. Hey, so talk to me. What you I guess you going back. Wait, they play Baltimore. They play Baltimore in FedEx or
I think they might be at M&T. I think
okay. Actually, let me take a look. I'm tripping. I got the schedule right here. Let me see what this thing talking about.
M&T, man.
What's the next game you going to? Oh yeah, they in M&T too.
Yeah, I'm going to the season opener. Yeah, I'm definitely
that boy Carson got to face a demon, man. He got that boy what's his name? Doug Peterson.
Those were the close demons, man. It wasn't Carson. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
You good.
All right. How you doing, sir?
Hey, morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, we're moving into 2606 today.
So for me, Ralph, I think he's a key piece in that. So wait, what's the all right? So all right, where do you think that I stand? Just so we can be clear, where do you think that I stand? So I can see if there was a mistake or anything. Cause I don't know. I think he's a key piece of the defense too. Let me go ahead and unmute you. Nah, you good. You good. But Ralph, I agree that he's a key piece in the defense. So I don't know if you thought maybe I was assuming that Mathis was taking a spot or anything, or maybe that. Okay, Ralph is at all the games this year. Okay, but nah, I think that he's a key piece. So yeah, you said the next game is going to be Jacksonville. Yeah, he's going up against Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting, man, because a lot of people don't understand though. Carson, like when we talk about Carson understanding the Jaguars defense, I think that's important. But you're talking about a coach who brought him in, who evaluated that man from 2015 because he had to scout him 2015 to 2020. Essentially. So like I'm not saying that they have the upper hand. I'm saying that it's an even playing field. Yeah. And either one can win. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, bro. All right, so you got it? You about to say something?
I was gonna say I do have us winning that Jaguars game. The one team I didn't want to overlook, not that I'm overlooking any team on our schedule, was the Detroit Lions, man. Like I know they're gonna come out with a little bit more energy. I feel like the continuity of this team, save for Carson, should be, one of our biggest detractors or one of our biggest pushes over Jaguars because they signed a lot of bodies out there, man. They spent some cash, right? They spent some cash, and we're gonna see a couple familiar faces over there. But I just want them to just go out there and handle business, man. Doug is an excellent coach. I think both of them got the short end of the stick when it comes to the outs in Philly. But Carson has something to prove. He's going to show him that I wasn't the reason why y'all lost the Jaguars game. I could try to pin that shit on anybody, but I'm going to show y'all. And, yeah, man, we taking it. We can't learn that action.
I can't wait till week 1, bro. I'm so geeked up for football now that I got a little taste, bro. I'm like, man, I'm like F every other game. Like, I don't care about Kansas City. I don't care about Baltimore. Take me to week 1, bro.
Week 1 right now. How many times have you watched the game, bro?
Huh?
How many times have you watched the game?
Twice. Cause the first time I watched it on Saturday, obviously, but I was drunk. And I was like, I ain't gonna be able to take no notes. While I'm drinking, bro. So I was like, let me go ahead, wake up Sunday, watch the game again, take my notes, put the podcast out, and things like that. But yeah, I wasn't able to do it Saturday. So hopefully I'm gonna try to be more responsible now, so I don't have to like make it up on the back end on like a Sunday morning. So I'll probably, just take notes and be sober this Saturday so I can just get this out of the way. But yeah, I only watch it twice. If I get the coach's film though, I'll definitely probably watch it like 2 or 3 times. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm 3 times in already, man.
Yeah, we're gonna see. But hey, man, let me go ahead and get up out of here. Appreciate you checking in as always, bro. Continue to do that, man. It's good. Always chopping it up, just checking what you talk with boy, my former Jaguar. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, hey, be safe, big dog. Enjoy your day, man.
Big dog. Blessings, man. You too, man.
All right, bro. Hey, so let's go ahead and quickly get the running back conversation out of the way. With Brian Robinson side, not Antonio Gibson. We're moving on from Antonio Gibson, and then we can close out with Daron Payne, Route. So I see you. And I think, and to your point, I do agree in terms of your assessment of my assessment. We do disagree on the pass rush part, but I do think that he can get better. I think he can get better. But yeah, you're right. You're right in what I think of him. So Brian Robinson, quickly, we can close out after these couple conversations. But Brian Robinson, man, I love the fact that he came in off rip and those 8 touches that he had in that 14-play drive to show the Commander side, what they have in him, but also show the fan side that, picking a running back in the 3rd round is more beneficial than you think. And when people talk about now, Ron Rivera did talk specifically about his role, like, and what they like out of him, because he can work the inside zone. He's an inside zone guy. He has the capabilities to work the power plays as well. So like, he's an inside running back, point blank, period. But it's not that short yardage thing. Like, that's not what they're saying. Like, it's more than short yardage. Just because you hit inside plays and hit inside zones and those duo runs, like, you can pop those. Every play is designed to score. Like, understand that every play is designed to score. So it's not just saying short yardage thing. And I think people make that mistake because he's a bruising back. He just understands how to play. You can't control how big he is. Like, he's 6'1", 2 whatever. Like, you can't control his size. He's just a natural running back. But I also think that when people understand or get to understand that he can definitely touch the outside and he has speed to turn that corner, you're going to understand that Brian Robinson's role is going to be bigger than just 3rd and 1, 2nd and 4, 1st and 5. Like, his role is going to be bigger than that. And it's going to take y'all some time. Some other people, not necessarily y'all, but it's going to take people time to really get accustomed to that for Brian Robinson. And let's go ahead and get into Daron Payne. Lastly, Ralph, you brought up a good difference that we do have. I do agree that Payne is a key piece in the defense. I agree 100%. His value is not something that we can just think can be replaced. You need a dog like that up front for sure. And yeah, his pass rush potential. Ralph said that he isn't as handsy as others, but his bull rush is elite, and that's where he makes the counters off of. So listen, here's my thing. I think Daron Payne is an individual who wins with quickness. Like, he's an explosive player. He slices through the gaps. That's what he does. But once his slice or once his explosiveness is met and defended well against or protected well against from an offensive lineman, that's where he becomes washed. That's where, those other issues come in terms of being able to win at the point of attack with your hand usage, because you have to have a toolbox. And with Jonathan Allen does well. Like, his bull rush is immaculate. Like, he perfected that thing to the point where once he gets under that shoulder pad or those armpits, he's going to take that lineman for a ride. He does that shit. He does that shit all the time. Like, he perfected that thing. So that's how he become one of the league's best interior pass rushers. And I'm gonna say this right now, for everybody that's in here, everybody that ultimately watch, understand that Jonathan Allen, he's just getting started. Like, that shit that he did last year on tape was incredible, but he just got there. He's gonna be one of the better interior defensive linemen of this league once again, and he may make an All-Pro bid. He may get that All-Pro bid this year. Like, that's how good he was last year. And he just got in terms of recognition, he just got recognized. So just understand, Jonathan Allen, bro, his toolbox is where I'm saying, like, Deron Payne needs to work up to be. That's where he needs to work up to be. What's going on, Rio? What's going on, Big Dog? How you feeling, man? How was that game yesterday? I just got done talking to Alex. He was saying that the vibes at FedEx Field was crazy, man. He said everything about that rollout, all of that stuff was incredible. So I want to know what you feel too, because there were some other people that checked in. I haven't got a chance to talk to them at all. Not one tight end could break a tackle or fall forward. Yeah, they were contested catches though. They agree though. Curtis Hodges ain't had no opportunities. Armani Rogers' safety blanket, he couldn't really break a tackle. But yeah, man, I agree with you, Ralph, in terms of his impact for the team. But at the same time, when it comes to that defense, but when it comes to pass rush, I think that he's a guy that needs to show that he's developed. Like, for example, Montez Sweat, he's a guy who has a really good bull rush on the edge. But in practice, he was working on his speed rush. Sam Cosmi was a guy who he went up against a couple times, and I happened to see one of those reps in practice in the one-on-ones. What's his name? Montez Sweat was able to win around the speed on the speed rush, and Sam Cosmi lost that rep. And I think there's certain things that you work on in practice, and that's probably what people are seeing from Deron Payne. But I think that he has to get better in game, being able to control his rushes and have more impactful rushes in terms of like winning your one-on-ones. I will say this one thing, just so you all can understand, Ralph, too. Look at all 4 of his sacks in 2021 and tell me, and I'm not disrespecting Deron, we already established that I agree with you in terms of his impact for his defense, but look at his 4 sacks. Just do me that favor, and when you look at those 4 sacks, tell me how many of those plays that he got those sacks on, how many did he make? I can tell you personally, because I watched all 4 of them, he didn't make a play on those sacks. He got gifted some opportunities. So that's all I'm saying. One-on-ones, he has to get better. That's it. It was electric for a preseason game. We were lit watching the third spray. Danny Johnson was getting roasted. That's exact. It's the fact that you know it, bro. Danny Johnson can't be on the field. It's as simple as that. Oh, you say elite. See, that's where I disagree. He said I'm biased. I respect it though. But yeah, let's get back to it. Danny Johnson was getting roasted. Yeah, man, I think that's part of the issue. Like, he was playing on the boundary, he was playing in the slot, and I think one of the issues, like, especially when you play in the slot, man, and you understand you're in man coverage and you're already giving up 7 yards of cushion. If you're gonna maintain that inside leverage, you can't allow that receiver to cross face. Like, if he's breaking in, you commit to that, and if he's breaking out, you jump on that. But you can't allow that man to cross your face the way he did. I think that he was uncomfortable in that situation, and that's part of the reason why he was playing so far off to begin with. But Danny Johnson, man, he had a rough day. And at 5'9", when you're getting targeted in 2-minute situation, because of the fact that, like, again, 5'9", nobody really scared of you. You're getting mossed on the boundary. Like, that was just a rough outing. And I think for a person like Christian Holmes, Benjamin St. Juice, Percy Butler, for those 3 guys, when you have those 3 guys that's in the wings waiting to see what opportunities they can get, I think Danny Johnson's job, for a 5th string guy too at that, like, we want to emphasize this part, for a 5th string guy, like, your job can be in jeopardy. Like, you're a depth piece. Like, there's still work to be had on your side of the ball, especially at the cornerback position. So look, I get it. And I respect the frustration and sticking up for your guy. So again, like I said, I'm all in favor for Payne. So I just think that he can work to develop some things. That's exactly where I'm getting at. He can work on develop some things. David Mayo, he had some issues. What's going on, Merle? I ain't even adjust you, man. Happy Monday, big dog. David Mayo had a rough outing in pass coverage. I also think, I don't know, bruh. Like, people were killing him for pass coverage, but I think we already knew that was his weakness. That's where I'm getting at. Like, I seen people killing him on Twitter in particular, not necessarily you, Merle. People were killing him on Twitter. I'm like, nigga, he ain't good at pass coverage. It's the reason they really have him in for run situations. That's literally it, because they don't trust him in pass coverage. But in preseason, he's going to get that burn regardless. So, because preseason, you got to see that exposure. You got to get that evaluation on him and all those things. So, definitely David Mayo had a rough outing in pass coverage. I don't even know how you can fix that. Maybe he has to be more, he has to process things a little bit quicker. I think if Cole Turner played, the offense would have done even more. I like what Rodgers showed, but Cole been him at camp. That's a fact. He been dogging shit. And I like Cole Turner. What do you thought? Since we're on Cole Turner, right quick, I'll ask you all, some of the new people that checked in. Curtis Hodges or Armani Rodgers, where y'all at with that one? If y'all had to pick for the fourth tight end, Curtis Hodges or Armani Rodgers. Yep, standing strong in the pocket. But yeah, man, that's where I'm at with Deron Payne and things like that. So let me check and see what Merle and Rio think about these guys and things like that. So, and while we wait for those, before we get up out of here, if you are new, understand that the Trapper Dive Commanders Morning Show every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, 7 a.m. until whenever. I was able to go a little bit longer today because I'm off work. So that's how things are checking. We say Rodgers. T-Boy checked in. Rodgers. I'm a fan of Rodgers too. I hope the ones play half on Friday. Saturday 4:00. Saturday 4:00. 4:30, I believe. Tracy Walker and Nathan Gary played well, so did Percy Butler. The only thing I had with Percy Butler, I agree. Percy played well in coverage for the entire game. Derek Forrest did too. Derek and Percy played well in coverage. I think the only thing that kind of exposes us from a schematic standpoint is if you have Percy Butler in the nickel and run situations, you can kind of get exposed, because I never really liked how he played in the box in terms of being able to tackle at the point of attack. Like his ability to tackle and wrap up and things like that has always been questionable. But overall, if you have him in passing situations, like in a dime package where you have to have 4 DBs or 5 DBs out there, 5 cornerbacks, you can actually kind of work that a little bit better too. So who knows? I kind of like that prospect of Percy Butler playing in the slot. He moved well. I love the way his hips were moving in terms of changing direction and things like that. We'll see. Now my morning, run you to something of these. Hey, we do have, before we close out, for those who don't know or those who are just new, we do have links in the chat for anybody that wants to chop it up, talk anything Commanders. So yeah, just understand that too, man. The floor is always going to be open up to the viewers. Open conversation, anything. I do got my outline, but conversation is always driven by the viewers and things like that. So appreciate everybody checking in. My man Ralph said Deron for 5 sacks this year. One more. No, hey, listen, no. 5 sacks, and let's see. No more gifts. No more gifts. 5, and yes, Butler had. That's a fact right here. 5 sacks though, Ralph, but 5 sacks of him dominating the man in front of him. That's what we need. I take 5 sacks. I will take 4. Let's see what that man looked like in terms of how he beats his man one-on-one. I'm here for that. 6.5 sacks. I'm here for that too. If we get 6.5 sacks from Payne and we get 12 from Jonathan Allen, I don't give a damn what Montez Sweat do. I do. I'm sassing it, but you get what I'm saying, bro. Y'all get what I'm saying. But yeah, Butler had to catch that pick. That's the one thing. That's the one thing where I was kind of upset with Butler, because he had a good day in coverage, but right before that pick, he had he had allowed a reception over the middle to a tight end. So that is kind of where I'm getting at with Percy. Like, I loved how he played in terms of coverage overall. His speed eliminated the play that he got beat on. He was a little slow in terms of processing, but his speed quickly eliminated the space that he gave up. It was the one where he was trying to pluck the ball out on the sideline. That one. Here we go. Yes, domination instead of gifts. Yes, Percy was perfect in position. I loved where his eyes at him. Yeah, man, that was excellent. That was excellent. Sweat needs to bully like he does in practice in the controlled environment where he has the plays are coming. Butler looked like he was thinking too much. Just on a couple of occasions. But overall, I want to see more opportunities from him. I think his biggest one, because Rio said that he took a half, and I think that's going to come up against Kansas City, and it should come up against Kansas City because that's going to be probably your biggest test in the preseason. Baltimore, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But Kansas City will probably be a really good idea, especially from a throwing standpoint on both sides of the ball. Actually, you can kind of get a picture of where your secondary is against one of the league's best quarterbacks in terms of best throwing quarterbacks. So we'll see. We will see. But listen, I got things to take care of on my side, man. 2 hours session, man. This thing flew by really quickly, bruh. Listen, we back on Wednesday. Trapper Dive Podcast is back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. AJ Dre is going to be in here. We're going to break down even further the Commanders-Panthers game. And we're going to the two side Wednesday afternoon. So y'all boys be safe. Y'all ladies be safe if you watching. T, if you around here, I know you be checking in from time to time. Everybody be safe. Enjoy y'all day. Enjoy y'all Monday, man. And handle y'all business. We up out of here.